They got the goats. It's a cool farm. So if you are coming up to the Gila Cliff Dwellings, the drive up is absolutely gorgeous, but you gotta take your time. It's a fairly windy road and a very long road, like 26 miles, I think. So enjoy it if you want to go faster, but what's the point, right? It's to be able to look around and see all of these majestic views. So yeah. If you're interested in the cliff dwellings or the Gila campground, check out our last video. But right now, we're making the trek into Arizona for some much needed prep work before the Quartzsite Truck Camper Rally. But not before a quick stop at a really cool museum. We are at the Titan Missile Museum. Decided to stop here along our route. Check out the place. We decided to come to this Titan Missile Museum, I think partly because we were interested in Titan missiles when we were out in Utah, maybe. We'll never know. This building was the main bunker, which controlled all 3 launch pads on the complex.
Yeah.
When we went to that defunct station out there.
Yeah.
So that was kind of neat. We'll see what we can learn more about Titan missiles, along with helicopters, multiple helicopters coming our way. This is the portal. We'll be going down the portal later, but you need a guide. That is a very big door. Wow. You gotta get kind of close to see it. So that's why they have this open, to show that it's not working.
Right. They got a big hole cut on it too, in the warhead.
I didn't realize that the Titan II missiles were like the biggest deterrent for a long time. It basically was a don't mess with us kind of thing. Looks kind of big to me. So this is a stage 2 and stage 1. Oh, these are portions of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Ooh, you can look at the mountains beyond the hydrazine liquid container.
The crew down in the control center would then open the gate for them, and they'd go to that red bin. That red bin is where the 2 officers would clear their weapons, and the crew would have 3 minutes to make it to their second phone. That second phone is down at the bottom of these stairs. They got 3 minutes to make it. It's more so of a safety concern, just in case the crew thought they were being followed or anything like that. They would take their time. The crew down below, once it's hit that 3-minute mark and they haven't heard anything, they would go ahead and call security. Go down the stairs. Inside there is also going to be a red coffee can. That red coffee can is where the crew would put their daily access code after they confirmed it is the right code to enter the silo. They would do this by either burning it, or if they needed to, in the lighter, they would actually have to eat the paper.
Another phone?
Charlie, Hotel, Mike. Message followed. Alpha, 2, 3, Charlie, Hotel, Mike, 2, 5.
When our silo soft light turns on, your silo roof's gonna be opening up. There it goes. Your roof is pulling back. Guidance coach is ticked on. Missile knows where it is, where it's going, how it's gonna get there. And it's about this time those valves open up on the bottom, propellants make contact and ignite. Fire engines is gonna turn on and we're gonna hear a klaxon alarm telling us there's a fire. Yep, there's our fire. And lift off. Your missile's gone.
Person up there waiting. Even the lights are on these shock mounts.
And why are they on? Everything on shock mode?
Well, in case it decides to take off, it's going to vibrate you. Or if somebody decides to bomb your silo, you got
You're
it
gonna feel it just a little bit.
just a little bit.
I totally want the phones. Can you?
Number 2.
All right, Gare. So what do you think?
Oh, that was awesome.
That was definitely worth $20 a person.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a
I
lot
got
of
to
fun.
see a lot. They were
And-
very informative, very knowledgeable on it. So,
I loved the simulation downstairs. So
Yep.
if you really need to go ahead and do it yourself, it is awesome.
yep. In typical Gary projects, we get a lot of them. So as
Especially when we go through forests and hit
Yeah,
lots of trees.
lots of trees. In fact, we hit another tree out somewhere. I don't know where because it hit another tree on the vent. On the other
We
side,
can't afford to hit more trees.
on the other side this time. So we had to do a check on the air conditioner. We did that this morning.
Major dent.
It's a major dent,
But it was working.
It still works. So
Yeah.
thank goodness, because it's going to be like 80 degrees here. The next things I've got is a weird one. I thought I had a crack in my windshield.
Which you do.
It's a hairline crack, but it's not on the outside. It's on the inside. In my whole life of cars, never had that happen ever. I have to replace the vent fan, and then we're gonna drain the tanks and have them clean too, because why not? I got to fix the awning a little bit more, so it makes it till we're gonna fix that permanently.
And we have to get it all done in 4 days before the Truck Camper Rally.
Yay.
And something else exciting today, we are getting our tanks cleaned. We have been living in this camper since 2020 and had the camper since 2018 and have never done cleaning beyond our normal, soap and chemicals. So our black tank is basically fine because you have the composting toilet, so that really isn't that big of a deal. But our gray tank is our problem child right now. It's just smelly. Yeah, I think it needs some help. Our sea level gauges haven't been reading well for quite some time. And today we're working with Jennifer from Kleen Tank here in Tucson. Thank you. All right, we want to do a really quick update on the Kleen Tank experience. The first thing we were concerned about before doing this was the pressure of the actual system that they used. We had heard that other systems, you could literally damage the tanks, but I don't think that's the case, right?
Right. Yeah, they got a specialized pump that they use. She showed us they have a tip that's specially modified to spray water in several directions. So when she's working the hose into the tanks, it's spraying in every which way.
All right, folks, this is going to be the gross part. If you don't like to see it, you better skip forward. This looks like sand coming out here, but that's just the crystallized urine, which is struvite. It's better to get it now before it starts getting into big chunks. This crap is interesting.
I just didn't realize there was that much stuff in there. I mean, I rinse it out till it comes clean, but
Yeah.
obviously isn't.
Which brings us to our second concern was what would their system really do differently than our black tank wash?
They fan the water out, and yeah, it kind of cleans some of it out and maybe fills the tank, but it doesn't directly push it. She works from the back of the tank forward and just kind of keeps pushing the debris.
You can hear it in there. Hear a little bit of the vibration.
It's just not doing one spot.
With the black tank flush, a lot of times that flush is going the same spray pattern every time. So it almost creates hills and valleys in there. Getting in there and having those multiple angles really did clean a lot.
So what I do now is I put a soap on it. It's a solution we recommend,
Okay.
but it's not something we sell. We give you the recipe to make it.
So as part of the process, they gave us this 32-ounce bottle of this holding tank solution along with the recipe on how to make it. I'll put a link to the recipe in the description below. We are definitely using that for our gray tank from now on. We did have some weird smell when we used it in our pseudo black tank. So our black tank is really now a secondary gray tank, and it just has the urine from our composting toilet and water from our bathroom sink. I usually put vinegar down the urine area like once a week and maybe like a half a cup to a cup to try to keep the crystallization of the urine down. but for some reason that just mixed with this stuff in not a good way. I don't think it did any damage, it just smelled awful. So we're going to continue to use that for our gray tank, but we're going to stick with our vinegar solution on our black tank. Lots of black.
Is there a black chunk? Okay, yeah.
Black chunking. We try really hard to not put anything down our tanks that would cause stuff, but they were certainly dirty.
Yes, after 6 years, we religiously backflush and do all of that stuff. I thought, well, okay, we're pretty good. We don't really need this. And evidently we did, because there was a lot of stuff. She gave us a C-, which I thought was not bad considering for how long we've been on the road full time.
We ended up getting our black and our gray tank cleaned. So we did not do the fresh tank, and we didn't do the hot water heater, which you can also do with them.
One of the things that I found after the tanks are cleaned, we dumped, and what I noticed is it dumps a lot quicker. So when I backflush now, I don't have this brownish color still coming out, thinking I've got most of it out. Now she cleaned it, and it comes out clear now.
Our sea level monitors are reading beautifully now, which we were having problems for the last almost a year. This was the reason why we decided to try it, and it worked beautifully. We are not sponsors of Clean Tank. We paid for it out of our own money, but we wanted to share the experience, which was really good.
It was very good.
All right, well, that's it. We are going to get you back to where we were. We left camp fully loaded, fresh water topped off, gray tanks empty, and the fan finally fixed. Gary did a great job, but forgot to film it. I'll let you deal with him in the comments. But before we disappear onto BLM land, we've got the glamorous stuff to handle. Fuel, groceries, and giving this poor muddy truck camper the bath she desperately deserves.
Look at that, all done.
Everything is in its place, and all of it is mine.
Got it.
I'm reinventing myself. I'm me and nobody else. I'm reinventing myself. I'm me and nobody else.
Did it this way. This is probably the slowest pump in the world. I'm filling up tank number 2. Yep.
Only $153. Not too bad.
That's pretty good. And it's clean too. So.
You can see all the scratches really well now.
Oh.
We're heading to the Roadrunner 14-day stay for the Truck Camper Rally. We're getting there a day early just to kind of get settled in. That's kind of our MO. Hope to see you guys there. Well, things are getting started here at the Truck Camper Rally. The line is getting long. I wish you were here. It would be a lot better. But we'll try to take you along when we can, at least so you can get a flavor of it. We also released a video of our second day at the rally. Make sure to check it out if you missed it. I can't believe it's the last day of the rally already. We have met so many folks and talked to so many people. It's just great. But I'm going to find Gary because Gary's at one of the classes and he forgot his water. So let's walk down. Ooh, they must have the good stuff over there. Let's go check it out.
Best practice is 5 miles an hour, no faster. But in some cases, where there's no slope, and you've got the
This was our second truck camper rally, and we'd absolutely recommend it to any truck camper owner. We sat in on a few of the classes, and if you're new to your rig, taking even more would be totally worth it. We are now on the hunt. And what are we on the hunt for, Gary?
Tires. Gotta have new shoes for the truck.
Yes. So we're trying to find out opinions on tires right now. And I think we might find a few here.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes. And we got to be careful because we can't just buy any tire. We got to have something that'll handle this truck.
Yes.
So, and I don't want 44s. So.
No, I can't afford 44s, so no.
All right. This is some turnover land. All right, orange, run 80. Orange 180. There we go. Congratulations. This thing is sweet. Yeah, you can see it on top of my rig over there.
Okay, I have the slowest camera ever. Oh, whoa, does that look cool? This is the SpaceX. That is sweet. Oh my gosh. It's sparkly. Oh, and you're smart. Look at that, Gary trying to capture everything. That's awesome. Woo. All right, sorry. That's about all I got was the SpaceX launch, which was pretty awesome. But now it is time to chat with others, and you won't be able to see anything, so I'm sorry. You're going to have to wait until tomorrow. Well, we are unfortunately at the end of the rally.
So yeah, we've met some really cool folks. Some of our followers and stuff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for coming by and saying hi to us. We really enjoyed
We
meeting
tried to
you
get
all.
around to everybody again, but we just missed everybody. There's so
Boy.
many trucks here. So
Right. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap things up here and head to our next destination in a day or so. I think we probably are going to chill here for a day
yeah, we're
or
gonna
so.
hang around. We'll probably move to a different site, make it, look a little, the neighborhood look a little different, and just hang out for a couple days. So.
If you have any suggestions of places to go in Arizona, let us know.
Yeah, we're kind of heading up the border, so.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see you later.
All right, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Lots of dust. Blech. We want to give a quick shout out to several folks we met here. I'm sure we'll forget many, but here it goes. Mike and Twyla from Runaway Parents. Thanks, Mike, for yelling out Gary's name and inviting us into the group. Andy and Sarah from Destination Desert. It was great sharing healthy on-the-road recipes with you. Larry from Work Less, Enjoy Life More. Thanks for adding us to your live stream. And Vic, down by the river. He's as awkward and funny in person and made us feel so comfortable with our first live stream. Kevin Wall, I wish we had a chance to talk more. John and Vicky from Betty and Beyond, who will be doing the Pan American Trail. We hope to someday follow in your footsteps. Danny and Donna from We Are Forever Dreaming. You'll see them again on our next video at Joshua Tree. Bob and Angie from However the Wind Blows with their host Cascade and EOG rig. Marty and Barb, who shared their rugged mountain camper. And Larry, our neighbor, who is convincing me to add more drone footage to my videos. The couple from Montreal, we tried to find you over the last several days, but we couldn't find your rig. John and Clarissa, I gotta try that outdoor shower. Terry and April, I hope those batteries are gonna do awesome for your next many adventures. Shakina and Mark, I'm so excited for you and your new Cirrus. Tim and Donna, it was also great to see you. You can tell we were surrounded by just plain amazing folks. Thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next trail.